Hello folks, in today's guide we are covering how to forge maximum stars for all 5 different spears within the Blades of Fire hammer minigame. Now, a few side notes just before we get started would be, there are no variations to these minigames, and regardless of weapon size, shape and ingots used, these minigames will all be the same, meaning just copy as I do and you should be just fine. Additionally, there is such a thing as forged memory, so once completing the minigame with max stars, you can just skip it entirely when crafting that weapon again. The only drawback to this is, when unlocking a higher maximum star limit for that weapon, you will need to redo the minigame in order to unlock the new max limit. The minigame consists of 3 different mechanics, which are strength, width, and angle. You'll see me adjust the angle as we go, but strength and width may take some trial and error. I've added voice notes to try and help, but ultimately, matching your own screen to mine will likely yield the best results. But other than all of that, let's get started. To begin, we are starting off with the long spear. First, angle your hammer to the right and adjust your strength and width accordingly. Next, head over to the right and angle your hammer to the left instead, and adjust your strength accordingly once again. Next, make some more adjustments and don't be shy to leave a small indent right here. Next, head to the center of the large columns and adjust your angle to the center also. Next, adjust strength and width until patching up the previous indent. Once doing so, adjust your angle back to the left and adjust your width to the max, then begin adjusting your strength accordingly until completing the entire blade. The glaive is somewhat simple despite first appearances. First, head to the far right, adjust your angle and width to the max, and then adjust your strength accordingly. Then, quite simply begin making your way down the entire blade, more or less only adjusting your strength and position as you go. Continue doing this pretty much the entire way down until eventually completing the blade. Up next, we have the Boar Spear, and this is yet again quite simple despite first appearances. First, head to the far left and adjust your angle and width to the max. Then adjust your strength so as to only flatten these 3 columns here. Next, adjust your strength to basically max and then reposition further down the blade. Then quite simply continue forward. Once again, only really needing to adjust your strength and position as you go until eventually completing the blade. Next, we have the Fauchard. First, start by adjusting your angle to the right and then adjusting your strength and width so as to begin filling in this small incline right here. You may want to strike a few times just to get it lined up nicely. Next, adjust your angle all the way to the left, increase your width to the max, and then adjust your strength accordingly. You will want to take a few moments to lower your width and iron out a few imperfections along the way. But for the most part, you will be able to adjust your width to the max whilst you simply just adjust your strength until eventually completing the blade. The Trident is actually a fair bit easier than it first appears to be. First, head to the far left and adjust your angle and width to the max. Then, quite simply begin adjusting your strength as you slowly begin to make your way down the blade. You should quite simply only have to adjust your strength as you make your way down, maybe making 1 or 2 slight adjustments to the width, but it shouldn't be too hard to eventually complete the blade. That is it for this guide, folks. I do have a handful of Blades of Fire guides in the works, so do keep an eye out for those. But in any case, I have a range of guides on the channel too, so do feel free to stop on by and check things out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, peace.